Hi, I'm Steve Thomas. This is Cacophony. Let's dive into some great music. But first, a warning. This episode contains politics and history, as well as great music. This is a very short piece of music, but one that really knows how to make an impact. Recognise it yet? The chances are you will have heard this at some point. This episode's piece is Fanfare for the Common Man by Aaron Copland. It's such a great title, as well as a good piece. Would it be as well loved, people have asked, if it had been called one of its draft names? Fanfare for the Airmen, or Fanfare for the Soldiers, because this is actually a war work in a way. In the months immediately after the attack on Pearl Harbor and America's entry into World War II, the conductor of the Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra, an Englishman called Eugene Goossens, commissioned 18 composers to write fanfares to go in each concert that season. Aaron Copland was asked to write the one for the season opening, in a spirit of friendly comradeship, for the cause we all have at heart, said the invitation. Friendly comradeship means there's no money and we're not going to pay you. Copland balked at this idea. He was short of cash, but eventually sat down to write something. When Goossens received it, he wrote to Copland, "Its title is as original as its music." Having missed the deadline for the season opener, he'd now put the concert into the 12th and 13th of March 1943. For the common man will be paying his income tax 2 days later, if he has anything left to pay it with. In 1943, in America, income tax was a particularly big deal. There's no pay as you earn. In 1942, most Americans hadn't been able to save enough money to pay their taxes at all. And now there was a war on, so the government had introduced a new law getting companies to withhold their employees' taxes to make sure the money was available. In 1943, the tax take doubled, from $3 to $6 billion. The next year, it was $20 billion. Anyway, it would seem that Goossens and Copland agreed back then that, as now, paying tax was something that the ordinary people did. In fact, Aaron Copland's title had been inspired by a speech given by the Vice President Henry Wallace, where, looking to the post-war world, he had said, "Some have spoken of the American century. I say that the century which will come out of this war can be and must be the century of the common man." Wallace went on to stand for president, essentially as an independent, calling for racial and sexual equality, an end to school segregation, and national health insurance. And then he got investigated for being un-American. Copland's fanfare is a world away from the flurry of notes and trumpet-fuelled sparkle that fanfares normally deliver. It is solemn, grand. It feels important. It's also exceptionally musically economical. Almost everything stems from the opening phrase, gradually building up with the addition of horns, then trombones and tuba. The fanfare certainly went down well. Of the 18 Goossens commissioned, this is the only one that gets played now, and it's considered a piece of quintessential Americana. It was used to open the 1984 LA Olympics, and at the inauguration of President Nixon, which is ironic, given allegations that he, like many a leading statesman yesterday and today, wasn't common enough to pay his own taxes. The fanfare remains hugely popular, and I reckon Copland probably made up for the lack of upfront payment in subsequent royalties. not least from 70s rock legends Emerson, Lake and Palmer and the Rolling Stones. So let's have a listen. Click on the link in the show notes and enjoy 3 minutes of glorious, portentous brass and percussion. Does it end optimistically, in hope for the coming century of the common man? A century that maybe we're still waiting to begin? You tell me. Send me a comment or a quick voice message at cacophonyonline.com. Have a look in the show notes for other easy ways to support Cacophony by sharing the podcast with other music lovers or common people you know, or with a contribution that helps cover our costs. Come back for more next time, and thanks for listening.